Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another subscriber Q&A. So we're here in the office. I'm going to try to make these videos here. That way I can have a little bit quicker turnaround time and get them out to you guys. So with that said, if you're new to the channel, this is where you guys submit questions reef related to either the chat system on the website, the comment section of a recent video, or you can email me, fishofhex@gmail.com. Any reef-related question, I will do my best to create a video and not only help you, but hopefully anybody else who might be watching it. So with that said, we are going to answer a question from Jeff on the website here. It's a little bit of a longer question. It's regarding dosing and hopefully help him out. So with that said, let's get started. I just watched your video on the top 5 dosing mistakes. I was dosing 150 milliliters of BRS soda ash and calcium in my 90-gallon with a 30-gallon geo sump, and my levels were not where I wanted them to be, 9.5 DKH and calcium in the 400s. And as I'm experiencing calcification in the sump and its equipment, I realized I am way overdosing. So I tried what was suggested, stopped for a day and dosing once a day using the calculator to bring my levels to what I want. My problem is that I'm going through a 1.65 DKH swing per day, which seems very high for a tank with a very low load, 4 frags and some zoa colonies plus a good amount of coralline. I don't think the 1.65 swing every day is good, and I don't think adding that amount of 2-part is the correct on a daily basis. I'm perplexed on what to do. Someone else told me to stop dosing for 1 week to see where the tank is, but I am not sure as I think things will drop too low. I just today started dosing 240 or 2,400 milliliters of calc with a dosing pump and lowering my 2-part to 40 milliliters per day. The swings are getting better as I am not doing what the first suggestion was, dosing once a day brings levels where I want. But I still want my elk steady at 9.5 DKH. Any thoughts or ideas? Now, first of all, I apologize. My voice almost didn't make it through that. Sorry about that. But let's go ahead and talk about my approach to dosing. As I mentioned in previous videos, back in the 125, that's where I did my 2-part dosing. I don't use 2-part now in the 300. I have the calcium reactor in calc. So I will be able to help you, with the calc side of things because it is my secondary method of dosing. But let's go ahead and back up to your 2-part. Dosing 2-part, I do not recommend doing it once per day. On the 125, I dosed it 24 times a day. Now, what I suggest is taking your dose. Right now, you're at 40 milliliters per day. I suggest that you spread that out, dose it 24 times a day. So not only is that going to allow you to spread the dose out and hopefully kind of even out those fluctuations right throughout the day, but when you start really filling the tank up with corals and you got a ton of coral growing and you're consuming hundreds of milliliters of this stuff every day, you don't want to be dosing that all at one time. You want to spread that out. So it's better to start now that you're not dosing very much, and then just go ahead and as you increase the amount that you're dosing, you can spread that out. Okay, so so what I recommend you do is alkalinity dose every hour on the hour. So midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, etc. And then dose your calcium 30 minutes later. So 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, spreading them out because you don't want to dose them at the same time. There's a good chance they'll come together, precipitate out. Might be part of the problem you're having now with the precipitation and the calcification of stuff in your equipment wise. You might be just dosing them at the same time, close together, and they're coming together and you're getting those fluctuations. It's not really good. So again, alkalinity, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 24 times a day. Calcium, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, 4:30. Good. Giving it plenty of time for that water to move through, and you're dosing the same amount, spreading it out. So what I would do is keep your 40 milliliters a day for now. I would again spread that out evenly. So do I would say maybe just do 2 milliliters a day, that you're kind of bumping it up 10, but it's easy for dosing purposes and for a dosing pump. And make sure you're doing a dosing pump. Obviously, you're not going to go back every hour and dose. I'm assuming you have a dosing pump. So just do 2 milliliters every hour, 24 hours a day. Okay. And then what I would do is I would let that go for the next couple days and then slowly bring your calc dosing down, and then bring your 2-part dosing up, and then make sure just let that go for a few days. One thing you're going to realize is it does take 2 or 3 days for the system to balance out based on your dosing, and then you can make another adjustment. So again, 2 milliliters per day, okay, per hour, on both calcium and alkalinity. Let that go through, give it a couple days, slowly bring your calc down just a little bit, and then bump up your alkalinity to maybe 3 milliliters an hour, okay? And then see where that gets you at in the next few days, and then just make adjustments like that, and then before you know it, you'll be at your 9.5 DKH or where you want to be. Now, speaking of that, I know that I've recommended 9.5 DKH very often in the past, and I've grown a ton of coral at that DKH, but one thing I find is that it's a good area to be if you want to grow coral fast, but it's not the safest place to be when it comes to alkalinity. So what I mean by that is there's a wiggle room. So we have 7 to 12 DKH is our main fluctuation range for our tanks, right? So if you're at 9.5, you're kind of closer to that 12, right? Not so much to the 7. So what I find is an 8.5 is kind of the safest place to be. It's allowed me to catch it if it gets too low. It never gets too high where you start having bleaching. On the grand scheme of things, I'd rather, if I had to go two directions, I'd prefer my alkalinity to be a little lower opposed to being too high, because that's when you get, you know, the mass STN, RTN, bleaching, all that kind of stuff really happens at those high alkalinity levels, which, you know, at 9.5 isn't too bad, but it's just a little off from 10.5, 11.5, and before you know it, you're out of the range. So I would suggest an 8.5 is a very solid number. I've grown up to 300 already once at 8.5. I continue to stay as close to it as I possibly can, and I think that's just kind of a safer, and I know a lot of reefers agree with me on that as well. So outside of that, I think we're pretty good. I think if you just take your time, you spread the dose out, you'll be able to get to your 9.5 if you really want to be there within the next couple weeks. Don't rush it. Give the tank time to adjust. And I know you said you have a very low bioload, but coralline algae is essentially coral. It consumes a ton of calcium alkalinity. So keep in mind, if you go in there and you start scraping that stuff off the glass and you're removing the coralline algae, keep an eye on your alkalinity the next couple days, because it could potentially drop, given that that is the main consumption. I guess it's the main thing consuming it in the tank. So just kind of some food for thought. So outside of that, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Again, if you have any questions, hit me up, let me know. If you want to support the channel, head over to fishofhex.com. 25% off on everything using the code 25% off at checkout for the month of November. I think we're going to keep it November. And that's it. Appreciate you. Peace.